Morning to everyone. This is Sai Deepak from CSE department. Today's my tech talk topic is E vectors, GFA, JFA, and I vectors revisited. Introduction to E vectors, giant factor analysis, and I vectors revisited. E vectors, JFA, and I vectors are important concepts in the field of vector analysis. JFA stands for giant factor analysis, which is used for analyzing the relationships between multiple variables. A vectors refer to the independent vectors that are extracted from JFA. JFA, giant factor analysis. Giant factor analysis is a statistical method used to analyze the relationships between multiple variables simultaneously. It helps to identify the underlying factors that can contribute to observed relationships. JFA is widely used in fields like psychology, social science, and market research. JFA is used like fields psychology, social science, and market research. Key steps in JFA: data collection, gather data on multiple variables of interest. Data processing, pre-processing, clean and prepare the data for analysis. Factor extraction, identify the underlying factors using statistical techniques. There are three keys that we can follow in JFA: gathering data, clean and prepare the data for analysis, identifying underlying factors using statistical techniques. I vectors, independent vectors. I vectors are the independent vectors extracted from giant factor analysis. These vectors represent the unique contribution of each variable to the observed relationships. I vectors are orthogonal to each other, indicating that they are independent of one another. Applications of E vectors, JFA and A vectors. Giant factor analysis and I vectors are used in various fields from data analysis and interpretation. In psychology, they help identify underlying factors that influence behavior and mental wellness. In market research, they assist in understanding consumer preference and behavior. These are the applications for E vectors, JFA, and I vectors. It can use in various fields, data analysis and interpretation, and in psychology, underlying factors influence behavior. In market research, they are assisting understanding consumer preference and behavior. And next slide. Advantages of E vectors. Giant, fact, giant factor analysis allows for the simultaneous analysis of multiple variables, capturing their interrelationships. I vectors provide insights into the unique contribution of each variable, enhancing understanding. These techniques provide a robust framework from data analysis and interpretation. JFA vectors provides a robust framework for data analysis and interpretation. Limitations of E vectors, giant factor analysis and E vectors. Giant factor analysis requires a large sample size to ensure reliable factor extraction. Factor interpretation can be subjective and requires expertise in the field of study. The results may vary depending on specific dataset and choosing statistical techniques. Examples. Examples are giant factor analysis in market research. Giant factor analysis can be used to analyze consumer preference, buying behavior, and product features. Extracted factor can help identify market segments and tailor marketing strategies. I vectors provide insights into the unique contribution of each product feature to consumer preference. These are the market research, analysis, consumer preference, buying behavior and product features extracted habits can help identify market segments, tailor marketing, insights to meaningful contribution of each product feature to consumer preference. Best practice for key vectors, JFA and I vectors. Clearly define the research question and variables of interest before conducting analysis. This is to research for question and variables of interest before conducting the analysis. Ensure data quality and completeness to obtain reliable results. Also to ensure the data quality and completeness to obtain reliable results. Consider the appropriate statistical techniques and software for giant factor analysis and I vectors analysis. These are the three keys for best practice for E vectors. Clear define the question and variables of interest before conducting analysis. And completeness to obtain reliable results. Appropriate statistical techniques and software for JFA and I vector analysis. Summary of E vectors. Giant, giant factor analysis and I vectors. E vectors, giant factor analysis in A vectors provide a powerful framework for analyzing multiple variables. Java factor and giant factor analysis helps identify underlying factors, while A vector represents the unique contribution of each variable. These techniques have diverse application in various fields, including psychology and market research. There is summary of vectors provide a powerful framework for analyzing multiple variables. It helps identify underlying factors, while I vector represents the unique contribution of each variable. Techniques have diverse application in various fields, including psychology and market research. Giant factor analysis and I vector tutorial. Super vector for speakers. Relevance map adoption calculation. This is the speaker dependent GMM model. Speaker independent GMM model UV super vector extract in CC features. Relevance map adaptation is linear interpolation of mixture components of UVM to increase likelihood of speech from particular speaker. Supervectors consist of the speaker independent GML means components problem. Relevance map adaptation adapts to not only speaker specific character of speech but also channel and other nuisance factors. The supervectors generated in this way are non-ideal JFA instant. A supervector for a speaker should be decomposed into speaker dependent, channel dependent, and residual components. Each component can be represented by a low-dimensional set of factors which operate along the principal dimensions. Eigendimension example, eigenvalues of the corresponding component. For instance, the following illustrates the speaker-dependent components known as eigenvoice component, and corresponding factors. A given speaker GMM supervector can be decomposed as follows. S is equals to implies capital U into what? Y and U into X plus B into Z. Speaker dependent ideal speaker residual component. Speaker channel supervector independent dependent component. Where vector M is a speaker independent supervector from UVM matrix. Matrix is the eigenvoice matrix where vector is the speaker factor assumed to have n 0 1 prior distribution. Matrix is the eigenchannel matrix. Vector X is the channel factors assumed to have 0 1 prior distribution. Matrix D is residual matrix and is diagonal. Vector Z is speaker with specific residual vectors assumed to have 0 1 prior distribution. For a 5-12 pixel GMM image system like dimension of giant factor analysis component are typical as follows. Matrix V equals to 27 by 300 by 300 is eigenvalue components. Vector Y is 300 by 1, 300 speaker factors. Matrix U 200 by 100 eigen channel components. Vector X 100 by 1, 100 channel factors. Matrix D 2000 by 2000, 20,000 residual components. Vector Z 20,000 by 1, 20,000 speaker specific residual components. Reference incentive concept. Thank you.